It's a terrible football show, all right?
I want whatever you guys are smoking right now.
Come on, Shane. OH.
Damn.
OH.
Io, baby,
go.
yeah! Shane, I swear to God.
Welcome to a terrible football show.
That's my quarterback and my teammate, man.
Ruins my fucking holiday every damn year.
Alex,
What up?
you could thoroughly kiss my ass.
Why not let us decide the top four?
Yeah, let a terrible football show
Let a terrible foot
decide the top
football
four.
show.
Fuck you, Shane.
Roll Tide. Have a good one, guys.
Oh,
Have a good one. Oh, yeah, he's got to go. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
You know, I like that Baker Mayfield to myself, man. He was baking up there in the Browns, and it just turned into a big old shit pile. So,
Get that right. I will fly you out and take you to a game in Dallas of your fucking choice.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he's successful at just giving his terrible opinions, so why can't I? It's a terrible football show after all. Welcome to a Terrible Football Show, episode number Raymond Berry. See that boy's throwing it back now. We're going old school with him. Absolute legend. I got Ricky and Jacob here with me. Shane's still on his current hiatus. Hopefully we can see him again sometime in the near future. But boys, how we doing? How we feeling on this wonderful Wednesday, not Tuesday?
Feels weird.
It does.
It also feels weird that there's light outside night. It's natural light,
Yeah.
and it's giving me such a shiny forehead. Like, look how light. I'm glowing. I'm
Yeah.
physically glowing.
You really are. You look great. You look 10 out of 10.
And not in a good way. No,
I
not
think
in a
you
good
look
way.
great. I think you look great. I'm here for
I
it.
look like when Sheamus comes out and all the spotlights get shown onto him. That's what I look like right now.
All right, you better start beating your chest and do a bro kick on someone up in this show.
Hey, don't tempt me, Ricky. Look out, man. I'm coming for you.
Ricky, how are you feeling, man?
Why are you pointing out me? What did I do?
To be fair, you two are the ones that will go at it more. I'm the middleman in almost every conversation.
Yeah, unless we bring up Hawaii or Chicago, then
Yeah,
yes, you are.
that's true.
You are the middleman.
That's
so, yeah,
true.
You are. Yeah, that's correct.
But how are we feeling today?
Feeling all right. Shout out to my daughter. Today is her 12th birthday, so shout out to Shelby, her 12th birthday.
Shout out, 12th birthday.
Oh Lord, and we're creeping up on those teenage years, gentlemen. We're creeping up on the teenage years.
Time flies. Time flies. Am I right?
Good luck.
It does.
All right, boys. Yeah, so live on a Wednesday today, just because yesterday was Halloween. I personally had plans. I don't know if either of you guys did. If you guys did, hopefully you guys had a great Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone out there. Happy spooky season. I love me some spooky season. So the downside to us missing Halloween, and I knew this when I said, hey, Halloween, let's just not do the show, is that we missed college football playoff rankings, which we'll cover today on our thoughts for it. We also missed the end of the trade deadline, which is fine. We're still here. We'll still do the show. It's going to be great. All right. Next year will be fine because Halloween won't be on a Tuesday. It's all good. Halloween will be on a Wednesday. And everything will be fine. It's all good.
Thursday.
So we do have a lot of things to
Hey,
cover
it'll be
here.
on-
Do what?
It will be on a Thursday next year's leap year.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Well, yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Even better. Right there into the weekend. Maybe people can take a nice little, few-day weekend, 4-day weekend off. If you really love the spooky season, it'll be great. 10 out of 10. But no, there is a lot to cover today. Trade deadline winners and losers. The Bears, my team, were active in one good regard yesterday, so definitely going to chat about that. There was another team that was pretty active, but not in the way of the trade deadline. They were active in the way of getting rid of their trash-ass head coach, Josh McDaniels, fired from the Las Vegas Raiders. And like I already said, college football playoff rankings. The first batch came out yesterday with the one and only, the
Ohio State University, baby.
At number one.
OH.
Got you.
Yes.
At number one. So a lot to dive into. A lot to dive into here today. First and foremost, another thing that you can dive into is you can dive into a wonderful, delicious tub of Rogue Energy with our referral link down below. Promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off. I had the Radiant Rush hydration flavor last night. Zach brought it over, let me try it. It was incredible. If you've ever had like the Tropicana Caribbean Sunset Juice, it tastes like that, and it's awesome. So definitely recommend that. And then, of course, they've got a lot of great flavors across the board. So definitely check that out, as well as Agent Ink, because we have great jerseys. Check that out as well. All right, boys. Let's jump into things. Let's do the NFL. We'll kick off with NFL stuff. So long time coming, it feels like. When really it hasn't been that long. He's only been the coach for like what? This is only his second year, but God, it feels a lot longer than that. Josh McDaniels finally fired from the Las Vegas Raiders. Did it take too long? Is this the right amount of time for it? Realistically, if you're really not sold on a coach, I would feel like this is the right amount of time. You got a year and a half kind of going for you and just nothing to show for it. But I don't know, man. It has felt like a slog up there in Vegas. To an extent, it feels like this was just way too long to get this done. He didn't show anything last year, hasn't shown anything this year. But it's a new day in Las Vegas. The Raiders interim head coach is Antonio Pierce with a very selective choice of words for his opening kind of comments on being the coach. Shout out to that. I don't know if you guys saw his comments. Did anyone see those comments that I'm referring to?
No.
Let me tell you, it's a choice of wording. I feel like it could have been probably worded a lot better. May have wanted to run that one by the PR first or something. I understand what he was trying to say. But his exact quote was, I'm a former player. I touch former players. They're going to feel me. I need to feel them. I get what he's trying to say. I understand, but probably could have worded that one a little bit better. So,
Oh my gosh.
Shout out
Jerry Sandusky reincarnated.
Shout out to Antonio Pierce, great middle linebacker for the Giants, but probably could have worded that one better. New day in Vegas, boys. Especially a new day because they also starting a new quarterback going forward. I know Jacob's pretty pumped about that one. Aiden O'Connell, the rook, is getting his nods. So shout out to that. But boys, how we feeling about the Josh McDaniels firing? Again, is it the right amount of time? Too soon or it took too long?
Listen, I'm a firm believer when it comes to hiring a new head coach that you should at least give them on average 3 years, because that gives them enough time to get guys in there that is their guys.
I agree.
And get a scheme going and everything else. But it was time. It was time for McDaniels to go. He's good at offensive coordinator position, but he's not good as a head coach at all.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again now.
Yeah.
So the quote by Mr. Pierce it reminds me of that scene in School of Rock where Jack Black's character was telling the parents that I've been touched by your kids and I know I've touched them. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. So, but anyway, yeah, I agree. Everybody knows he's a great offensive coordinator. He's a Super Bowl champion. Although it was with Tom Brady, but even Tom Brady's admitted that he did have some kind of a good influence on him when he was in New England. So shout out to that, I guess. I'm also a firm believer that 3 years is enough time to that's about the right time it is to get a real feel for a coach. But in the NFL though, it's one of those deals. It's a win now league, and if you've got nothing to show for it, he had nothing to show for it. It was time to go.
Yeah, I agree that when it comes to the NFL, I think 3 years is the time that you need to really kind of establish things, get some draft picks going. But when it comes to those 3 years, you got to see improvement. If you're a new head coach and you take a 2-15 team and you follow up the next year with another 2-15 season, that's no improvement. But if you take that 2-15 to like a 4 and 12 or whatever, 4 and whatever the record, 13. Then the next year you get 5 wins or 6 wins, you're gradually improving. So that's at least something. I know fans are going to be at your throats, but you are improving. But there are also those cases where when you see a guy that's not working, you see a guy that's not working. I'm a great example of that right now up in fucking Chicago. I'm going to go on. I've got some thoughts on Chicago here in a bit. We'll get to it. I hate hogging airtime talking about my favorite team, but I'm going to hog some airtime and talk about my favorite team here in a little bit, but we'll get there. But like, Josh McDaniels was one of those cases that, when you see it's not working, it's just not working. The offense is abysmal. You have arguably a top 5 receiver in the league still right now, Devontae Adams, not being involved at all. Like it's one thing where he's just not getting set, but he's not getting targets. That's the thing. He's not getting targets. He got 2 targets the other night. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you're not including your star players. Your star players are wanting out of there. One star player came there to play with his quarterback. That quarterback gets shipped out. Now he's not being involved with the offense. Your other star player you didn't want to sign, being Josh Jacobs. So I mean, you trade away Darren Waller, which I know he hasn't done a lot for the Giants. But then again, can you chalk that up to Waller? Or can you chalk that up to the Giants? I say chalk that up to the Giants because they fucking stink. It's not working. That's just what it is. It wasn't working. And now the Vegas is back to square one, like trying to figure out the next play. And I don't know, give it about a month, and we're gonna see Josh McDaniels back in New England. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, and with Vegas being a huge money market, they've got to get somebody in there that's going to be able to draw them in. And I think that's usually when you fire a head coach like this, that's the one thing they're going to look at. Or is he bringing people in? What are fans think? Of course, a lot of times they don't really listen to us, but when it comes when they're sucking, when they're really really bad, they will take that into consideration.
Time for the Raiders to rehire John Gruden.
Yeah,
because it's coming. I just have a sneaky suspicion that Gruden will come back.
I don't think he should have been fired to begin with. That's just my personal take on it. And I know that's another story for another day, but because I don't think I was part of ATFS when he got fired, but my personal take on that was I just there's so much more to that than what met the eye, and he was the only one that got put on that deal. No, it was a bad deal in my opinion. It was stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was the fall guy, and they just pinned it all on him. Granted, was he guilty? Obviously. Was he the only guilty person? No.
Yeah. And, it'd be funny if they did rehire him, because I mean, hell, they're already still paying him right now, aren't they?
Yeah, and they will be for a while.
Yeah, he's still collecting paychecks right now, so that would be the thing.
I think 5 more years, because he signed a 10-year deal. He's been gone for 2 years. If he was fired after 2 years, yeah, he's got at least 5, if not 6 more years.
Yep, it's the same situation with Carolina and Matt Rule. Carolina's still paying Matt Rule, and he's not even in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, there was at one point the Jets were paying 3 different head coaches at one point, because they were paying Todd Boyles, they were paying Adam Gase, and they were paying I guess Bob Saleh. Bob Saleh was hired after Gase, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, they were paying all 3 of them for 1 season at least, because I think that was the last season for Boyles. And then they were, I think this season might have been the last one for Gase. So next year they're only paying 1 guy. I think I don't know. I just know at one point they were paying all 3. And it's also funny, that we talk about that because it wasn't that long ago where the NFL let all the NFL teams know that, hey, you guys are, there's like millions and millions and millions of dollars being spent on just fired head coaches. Figure it out. Like, what are we doing? You guys are wasting so much money on this. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. But hey, new day for Vegas. Hopefully Vegas fans are feeling a little optimistic. We'll see. As well as hopefully some of these
they're not.
Do what?
No, they're not.
I'm saying hopefully.
Raiders. They've been trash for years.
You got
hold on now.
Aiden O'Connell.
They now have a competent quarterback who will know to throw the ball to his number 1 receiver when he is wide open.
That's true.
Just saying.
That's true. Devontae's been open, man. He's always open. He's like not as swift on his feet, Chad Johnson. He's always open. But no, let's go through some of the big names that took place yesterday with the trade deadline. I will say it's wasn't as much of a fireworks trade deadline as it has been in the past. Yeah, it was just one of those. Yeah, not a lot of buyers, not a lot of sellers. The biggest, a couple of the biggest ones that happened, of course. One of them, being with my team is Washington. Were definitely sellers yesterday. Chase Young was traded to San Francisco, which I know just pleases Jacob so much. And then the Bears got Montez Sweat in a trade for a second-round draft pick. Giants were also sellers, trading away Leonard Williams. He's officially out of New York for the first time in his pro career. Going from the Jets to the Giants, he just went across the hall there. He is now going to Seattle, going over with Pete Carroll. So nice little USC ties there. They never obviously coached and played together, but they obviously know each other. Let's see. The Bills got Rasul Douglas. That's a good one. I liked the injury report the Bills Twitter put up earlier. Where he was on the injury report, and his reason was, quote, just got here. So I thought that was funny. Shout out to the Bills Twitter team for that one. I'm not even joking on that. Jaguars got a nice boost on the offensive line with Ezra Cleveland, so that's pretty sweet. Happy for that one. And the Vikings got Josh Dobbs from the Cardinals. Cardinals trade away their starting quarterback they've had so far. What does that mean for the Cards? Are they throwing in the towel, or is Kyler closer to come back than we think?
I want to say Kyler's probably closer to coming back. But then again, man, Minnesota could have gotten there's so many better quarterbacks that were available in either free agency or trade wise. I don't think they necessarily had to go after Joshua Dobbs.
I agree.
That was probably the most confusing part about the entire trade deadline, in my personal opinion, is the Vikings getting Joshua Dobbs. Obviously, they see something in the kid. So, I mean, obviously, they see something in the guy. I don't know what that is. Yes, I know Arizona's trash. They have a trash team, trash offensive line. Minnesota's going to be a little bit better. But it's like Jacobs. There was a plethora of quarterbacks they could have went to go get. They didn't have to go get a Joshua Dobbs, but I'm assuming, it's just my opinion, I don't know, because I'm not like an NFL insider or anything like that. Maybe, just maybe, they've got something in their back pocket because they do pay Kirk Cousins a lot of money. Maybe it's a money issue. I don't know. But maybe they're just waiting on their time to go get somebody big. Don't know.
I feel so bad for Cousins.
Yeah.
If that's the end of his career,
he was playing great.
If that's the end of his career, that is such a shit way to go out for him.
Now, I think in terms of the end of his career, if that's the end of his career at a high level, then that's a shit way to go out. Because I could see his career being over if the Vikings move on from him and he goes to another team and he's just never the same guy again. And the fucking primetime Kirk that we meme is literally every game Kirk, like that sort of situation. Like that would suck. Because Kirk was doing things, man. And dude. I know there are a lot of Vikings fans out there that just, ready to move on from Kirk. They want like the next guy, the next young first round draft pick, rook, whatever. But I'm gonna keep pounding the table on this, man. I think Vikings fans are gonna really miss Kirk Cousins when he's gone, unless they just get an absolute fucking stud. Then they won't. But I really think Kirk Cousins has been underappreciated up in Minnesota. They haven't figured things out. They're on a second-year head coach right now. Let them continue to figure things out. Let them continue to cook. Good, promising first season for Kevin O'Connell. So just let them continue to cook. But we'll see if Cousins is going to be a Viking next year. That's going to be a very interesting topic, especially with all the trade talk that was around him just a few weeks ago. So yeah, what a shit way to go out, man. How unfortunate. How unfortunate. Just kind of touching on Kirk's injury with the Achilles tear. Also, I shouted out last week. I'm gonna shout it again. Aaron Rodgers, man, freak of nature. That man is. Obviously he wasn't doing like extreme shit, but he was doing dropbacks on Sunday, just throwing the ball. That's unreal. That is unreal that this man was doing dropbacks on Sunday. This guy is a literal freak. Because right now the Jets, man, they're setting 4-3. I mean, they keep just getting it done. Aaron Rodgers is coming back before this season's over. If they're in the playoff hunt, it's happening. Aaron Rodgers is going to play this year, which
absolutely.
that's unreal to even think. Honestly, just from the vibe that I get listening to Rodgers talk on, on Pat McAfee show every week or whatever right now, even if the Jets are eliminated from playoff contention, if he is ready to go, I feel like the dude's still going to come play.
Oh yeah.
I really do. Just that's the vibe that I'm getting from the dude, is that no matter what, he's playing this year, regardless of where the team's at. Which would that be a smart decision for his health? No, but it's getting some more reps in. It's getting some game feel in. You know what I mean? And then also just showing the city of New York that, like, hey, I know we're limited for playoff, but I'm here. Sucks how things happen week 1, but I'm here. Man, that's been an insane story to follow.
Yeah, from a health standpoint, I just don't think he gives a damn right now, because I mean, he's at that point in time in his career, where he's in his twilight years.
Yeah.
He has no kids. He has no wife. The man just doesn't care. He just wants to play some damn football.
Yeah. That's true. He's living his best life right now, just playing football.
Yeah, and I heard someone joking. I can't remember who it was, but I heard someone joking the other day about maybe some of that stuff that Aaron Rodgers does in the offseason may rub off with the people. Maybe they need to go sit in a cave for a few weeks or whatever it is, and just have all the lights turned off and do all the meditation crap.
The darkness retreat.
But
don't forget the
and
ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Would you guys do the darkness retreat?
No.
I'd attempt it.
I would do it, but there's no shot that I could do it for like as long as Aaron did. And I know Aaron mentioned before that he had a friend who did it even longer. I would do it for like a 24 hours thing. I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good like 24 hour like decompress, just kind of think, meditate kind of thing. Like just kind of allow yourself to just get away from the world, detach yourself for 20. I would do it for 24 hours. I could not do it beyond that though. I think 24 hours would be my max. I'm like, all right, I had my decompression moment. All right, let's get back out in the world. I don't think I could do it for like a week, I think is what Aaron did. I don't remember. Aaron did it for like a week, 2 weeks or something like that. That's unreal. That's insane. What else is insane? Chicago Bears organization. Man, I put up on Twitter yesterday that being a Bears fan is exhausting. I put that up before the trade happened, but I still stand by my statement. Being a Bears fan is exhausting, because then after that, the running backs coach David Walker was fired by Bears HR. Bears HR had to get involved due to a second time of personal conduct. So it wasn't even, this is like, he had a warning once apparently, and now he did something again and got fired again. We already knew the Alan Williams thing that happened, which we still don't know what happened, because no one wants to break the news and possibly be wrong. So the Alan Williams thing that happened is up in the air. All right, so the Montez Sweat trade. First off, I didn't know we were going to get Sweat. I thought Chase Young was really – I thought it was going to be Chase Young. I'm going to be real with you guys. I was getting the vibe of Chase Young for a couple days. I was getting hard vibes of Chase Young was going to be a Chicago Bear. I'm cool with Montez Sweat. I like it a lot. I mean, he's now the leading Bears sack leader for the season, because the Bears D-line has like 6.5 sacks, and he alone has 6.5 sacks. So shout out to that. Our D-line absolutely eats ass. But man, it's just like, and I understand the trade, because he was going to be a free agent no matter what. I mean, the Washington was not going to re-sign him. They weren't. And like the Bears were going to pursue him in the offseason. So, this trade is them ensuing that they get absolute first dibs at this guy, that he is a Bear right now. They have the chance to re-sign him and stuff, but like, dude, this regime is such a shit show. It really is. He didn't want to obviously come to Chicago. He apparently Atlanta was in strong talks with Washington, which is where he wanted to go because he grew up in Atlanta. Guys, I'll be honest. Unless the Bears throw him a fat fucking contract, I'm not convinced he's signing. I'll be real with you. I really think we gave up a second-round draft pick for a guy that's going to get franchise tagged this offseason, and then he's going to walk the following season. Like, I really do get that vibe. I really do. Like, I genuinely have a feeling, and if he signs here like in a couple days, and obviously disregard what I'm saying. If he signs in a month, disregard what I'm saying. But like if it comes the offseason and this man still has not signed, I'm telling you, I'm either convinced he's not going to sign no matter what, or he's not going to sign while the current regime is in place. Like I could see a situation of where he will re-sign when we get a new head coach because Eberflus, he's not coming back. He's not. There's no way. If Eberflus comes back for a third season, I will be blown away and I will not know how to react. I know it's the Bears. I know they like to give people time, but he is the worst winning head coach in Chicago Bears history by a landslide. We've had 2 different coaches fired by Bears HR personally, not even by the coach, because of personal conduct. That's on Fluss. No matter what, I know they're the ones who did it. Alan Williams and David Walker, they're the ones who did it, but that's on Fluss. That's a representation of you as the leader of this team. That is on you. These are guys you brought in. Dude, I'm so done with this regime. I would much rather have Ryan and Matt 1.0 than Ryan and Matt 2.0 that I have right now. I'm so done with this regime. This is such a shit show. Because, Jalen Johnson wanted to get traded. The Bears allowed him to seek a trade. Nothing happened. He's still a Bear. That's cool. But, we're refusing to re-sign him. And he's not a top 5 corner in the league, but he is a very good corner. Who else better are you going to get in the offseason? The corner market this upcoming offseason is not strong. You re-sign a mid-ass tight end in Cole Kmet, but you refuse to re-sign Roquan Smith. You refuse to re-sign Jalen Johnson. And what's going to happen if they don't sign Montez Sweat? Then you wasted a second-round draft pick for a guy for half a season who's not going to really give a fuck because the Bears stink and we're not going to the playoffs. Man, being a Bears fan is exhausting. Justin Fields is done being a Bear, obviously. He's not coming back next year, which is no fault to him. The Bears have failed Justin, and I really hope he gets traded to a team that he can have success with. I really want to see him succeed so badly,
Minnesota.
But it's not going to be with Chicago. At this point, I don't give a fuck. Trade him to Minnesota. I mean, obviously we can't trade deadline, but I mean in the offseason. If he got traded to Minnesota and he torched the Bears for years to come like Aaron Rodgers did, you know what? I'll be happy. I really will. Good for you, Justin, because the Bears failed you. They failed you, and I'm glad that you're sticking it to them. I'd love that. Does that make me a less of a Bears fan? Maybe. I'm just very defeated. I've never been this defeated as a Bears fan. I don't know. Well, what's you guys' thoughts on the Montez Sweat trade? It's a good trade, but again, if we can't work out a deal, this trade's all for nothing.
I think it's going to be similar to what the Khalil Mack situation was. You guys had Khalil Mack, a great defensive talent, and you just let him go.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
on the plus side, at least your organization is actively doing shit in the trade deadline.
Unlike Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten,
and
Chase Young or
that's
Montez
actually
Sweat or...
that's wild to me because if there's any team between my team and you guys is that should have been buyers, it's you guys. We're 2-6. Why are we buyers right now? Again, I do understand why we are buyers, and that we were going to target Young or Sweat in the offseason regardless. This made sure that we got one. All right, so I totally get that, but why are we buyers at 2-6? You guys, as Cowboys fans, Cowboys should have been buyers. I don't know.
Cowboys should have been buyers. The Bengals should have been buyers. The Eagles should have been buyers, which I don't think they got anybody. The 49ers were the only legitimate buyers that got somebody in Chase Young.
Yeah.
Which was huge. And I'm still pissed at it.
So, I like Chicago suck now.
A little bit.
Alex, you have gone off more about Chicago this year than what you did last year, my friend, and because I've heard more rants from, and I think it's just because this just bulls over because you keep seeing the same stuff over and over and over again. This is why they're buyers. They're trying to rebuff that defense, and they're trying to save money to pay a quarterback, and that's the biggest issue that they have right now. Is number one, historically, no matter how great or how horrible Chicago has been, they've always been known for their defense. And they don't have one right now. And considering they
Facts.
don't have one right now, that's why Justin Fields looks so horrible. And everybody wants to point fingers at the quarterback, this quarterback, that. And it's not necessarily just the offense that's horrible, it's the entire organization as a whole. So you got to get some kind of talent somewhere. So even though, like you said, he may only be a rental, Montez Sweat may only be a rental, but it gives that little glimpse that say that Chicago is saying, "Hey, we know you're talented. We're gonna bring you in. We're gonna pay you money because you're gonna be one of our leading guys next year." And that always gives a young man like Montez Sweat, always gives Montez Sweat, a kid like him, any kind of hope. I do wish they had got Chase Young, but that's okay. They did get a good defender. It's fine. It's fine. But that's why they're buyers. The same thing with Washington. That's why they're getting rid of him. I mean, there's nothing there for him right now. Why would they keep him?
Here's the
They're going to be
issue.
they're going it's gonna be a dead last between them and the Giants for probably not just for the NFC, but probably for the NFC East as it is. So I mean, it just anyway. So go ahead, Jacob.
When it came, I
Here's
will
the
say when it
issue
came
with that,
to
though.
Washington, it really came down to money for them. Because they just re-signed Deron Payne and they've got Jonathan Allen as
Right.
well. So anyway, sorry, Jacob, go ahead.
The writing is on the wall with the Bears. The Bears are not ready to win this season, next season, or potentially even the season after that. It's going to be a pretty long rebuild, probably the next 5 years, I would say. And a young guy like Montez, 10 years.
Don't put that on me.
A young guy like Montez Sweat, he's gonna want to go after a Super Bowl, and Chicago's not the place to do that. Washington certainly wasn't the place to do that. Washington's actually in a better position right now than Chicago is going forward. They have one hell of a guy in Sam Howell, and he's been playing lights out the last few weeks. And they have a competent head coach as well. But I do not see Montez Sweat sticking around whatsoever. I think he will be gone by the time, well, whether or not they franchise tag him or not is a different story, but
We will.
he will want to go to a team that is ready to win now so he can get a Super Bowl ring, just like everybody else's dream in the NFL is to get a ring.
And that's understandable, but here's the thing. Which team has the better chance of winning their division in the next 5 years? It's Philly and the Cowboys, they're going nowhere. They're sticking around for a little bit. They're gonna be around at least for the next 5 years. Minnesota, we have no idea what's going on in Minnesota. Green Bay's a shit show right now.
Yeah.
Detroit's literally the best team in their division. So tell
and ain't
me who
nobody
has the
touching
better.
Detroit unless it's Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota has the best opportunity to go over Detroit, and it's not
Very
even
true,
a good
but
opportunity.
I agree, but here's the problem. Minnesota might be rebuilding after this coming year. So who's going to be that next in line? It could be very well Chicago. Because Green Bay's not doing nothing. I'm sorry, got this Jordan Love experience. I know it's going to take a little bit more time. I'm still not buying the Jordan Love experience. I'm not buying it one bit. I'm just saying in general. I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
Chicago is not in the worst situation. Like right now, it looks horrible. They're not in that bad of a situation right now. They could not easily. It's gonna take some money. It's gonna take some building up. But I'm saying right now, you could look at them and say they could very well finish second in their division next season. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm saying that they have more of a chance to knock down the doors on their division than what Washington does in their division.
I think Chicago has just about the same amount of probability of knocking on the door of the division next year as Green Bay. I think both teams are going to be soul searching for a quarterback for years to come because Justin ain't sticking around after this season. He's going to go bye-bye. And I honestly really hope he goes to Minnesota because I think that would be a perfect fit for him. But I don't know. I still think even with Minnesota's situation, Minnesota has the best opportunity to be number 2 in the division going forward.
I will, say as long as we currently, I keep coming back to this every time I talk about the Bears, and I will continue to do so. as long as the current regime is set up, we will go nowhere. And when I say regime, I do mean the whole thing. I mean Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, but I will give at least a little credit to Ryan Poles on certain moves that he's made. He's made good moves. He's made some really dumb fucking moves that did not pan out. Chase Claypool's a great fucking example. You know, the Nate Davis signing is not looking like it's panning out. The Volus Jones draft pick is not looking like it's panning out, but there are some good draft picks in there. Darnell Wright is a fucking stud. So I'll give some big credit on that one. You know, I like Jaquan Brisker. I like Kyler Gordon. Tremaine Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards have been playing incredible for us. Good signings there. But I'm telling you, as long as we have the current coaching staff, we ain't doing a goddamn thing. I have no faith in this coaching staff. So, like, if next year, he does get fired, like, I think he will, because, this is a horrible start for a coach in Bears history. The worst. I don't think he'll stick around. I really don't. I think whoever we would hire then I'll have a little bit more hope that, okay, maybe we can finish second in the division, like Ricky's saying. But as long as as long as we have who we have now, no hope. Eberflus is an absolute shit show and a disaster.
Yes, Lovie Smith, this is a Bears
Please.
owner. We want to bring you back. We're sorry that we fired you to begin with.
Should have never fired him.
Two head coaches that should have never been fired. They were fired prematurely, Lovie Smith and Jim Caldwell.
Yep.
Yep.
And both teams have paid for it since.
I understood Jim's situation a little more than I did Lovie Smith's.
So
But you're right. They both should have never been fired.
Lovey's was fired because it was 2 years in a row of being winning into the playoffs, and you lost to Green Bay both times. And I'm just like, even still, you fired him on a winning record. We were 10-6. Like, we still had a good team. Before injuries came into play, I still stand by it to this day. You go back and watch the tape. 2010 Bears and 2012 Bears were Super Bowl level teams until injuries plagued them. Like, I will stand by that. Should have never been fired. But I will say one potential candidate that the Bears are going to gun for, especially after some news that happened this week or last week. I don't remember. Jim Harbaugh. The news that happening up in Michigan right now of them kind of rescinding that contract extension he got this offseason. I don't know, boys. I know he said that's not entirely accurate, but let's be real. He's got to say that.
He said it right out that it's entirely inaccurate and it wasn't even a thing. So
yeah.
Do I think he's telling the truth? Kind of, but kind of not.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I know there's been constant rumors that he's been interested in the Bears job, and I think he would be, especially if he gets enticed with, hey, we have like $100 million to spend again, which as of right now, until we do a Sweat signing, if we do, or a Johnson signing, we currently do have $100 million going into next year, plus 2 top 5 draft picks. Like, he might be a little enticed by that. Choice of your quarterback in the draft, which would be Caleb. I think he'd be interested in that.
So, Jacob, here we go. Write this on your board. If Harbaugh gets hired as the head coach for Chicago will finish second in division next year.
I agree.
I don't agree.
Just write it down. Just write it down. Just write it down.
I'll write it down, but I'm oh boy, that's.
I didn't say they'd win the division.
Anyway, I won't rant more about my Bears. I'm just a defeated Bears fan. I hate my life right now. I'm ready for the season to be over.
You sound more defeated than I do about my Arkansas Razorbacks. That's horrible, man.
Well, look, guys, I last thing I'll say, and we can move on. I said it this offseason. I pounded and pounded, and I continue to will. If I've said time and time again, if the Bears fucked up the golden egg that they had, I don't know if I could forgive the organization for that. And right now, it's looking like they fucked up the golden egg that they had. We'll see. As of now, it looks like the golden egg was fucked up, and we dropped it and broke it. So we'll see.
What is your thoughts on Tyson?
I think he can be a really good backup.
I think he's shown some signs. Obviously, his last game wasn't really the greatest, but he's shown some signs that with the right head coach, he could be something.
He was the Tim Tebow Division II football. He was an absolute stud, record holder. Won the Division II Heisman, whatever it's called. You know, he's a stud. I mean, I think he. Unfortunately, I think he's just going to be a career backup. But man, you get it. But you're right. You get him with the right coach. You want to know who he's. You know who he's for. That's a Bill Belichick guy. That's a Bill Belichick guy.
That's true.
That
is true.
That's a Bill Belichick guy. Send him over to New England. Send him over to New England. That is a Bill Belichick guy, boys. That is a Bill Belichick guy if I've ever fucking seen one. Anyway, yeah. Did you guys have anything that you guys want to chat about in terms of like the NFL and stuff, like just games from the past weekend? You know, you guys as Cowboys, maybe just anything of the sort that you guys wanted to talk about.
Kansas City made Denver look like a real NFL football team.
What happened there?
I'm telling y'all, this is so confusing this year. All right, I told y'all we're gonna have a confusing season this year. This has been by far one of the most confusing seasons. Miami scores 70 points, beats Denver by 50. The very next week, the Bills blow them out. Then Denver, all of a sudden, of course, we know Kansas City's had their struggles. You know, they've had that Super Bowl lag or whatever the case may be. It happens. Then they lose to Denver. Now they've got Miami this weekend. That's going to be interesting just by itself.
Yep.
But it's the NFL. I mean, you know, stuff like this happens all the time. I mean, you look at this. San Francisco blew the Cowboys away. Blew our Cowboys away. They've lost 3 straight. It just happens. It's professional football, people.
Bengals are back.
I agree.
Bengals are back, huh?
Oh yeah.
All the way back.
Cool Joe Burrow is back. Here's when they start the run, just like last year. They start the run towards the Super Bowl.
So you're already locking in there beating the Bills in a very drama-filled game this weekend.
I don't think it's gonna be
they're gonna
drama-filled at all.
smack the Bills.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
When I say drama, I mean more or less like it has a great story. It has a very interesting story behind it. Obviously, back in Cincinnati, back on prime time. You know, after what happened last year, like it's what a wild story this one's going to be this weekend. You know, they're going to talk about it literally every 3 seconds they can.
I don't know if it's going to be a blowout necessarily per se, but I think it's going to be a convincing enough win that people are really going to start questioning what Tyler and myself predicted is how good are the Bills actually going to be. Because if you talk about inconsistency, they've had inconsistencies as well. And so, but yeah, I do expect a convincing win this weekend.
Agreed. Also, welcome to the NFL, Will Levis.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yes, the mayonnaise paid off. He's like, this is the Hellman's mayonnaise. 4th touchdown.
He looked great. I know the Falcons don't have the best of defenses, but man, he looked awesome.
You know what else who looked awesome? My boy D-Hop. 4 catches, 128 yards, 3 tuds. Man, D-Hop was there for Will. D-Hop was just like, I got you, dude. First start, I got you.
See,
yeah, at least he's actually, getting the ball to him.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, weren't they going to split it between him and the other guy? The reps between him and the third string?
Yeah.
Yep. That ain't happening anymore.
No.
Also, Desmond Ridder got benched for this upcoming game.
Yep,
Tyler
Heineke is the starter. I'm seeing reports that Jordan Love could be getting benched soon. I know we can already kind of touched on the Packers and their issues there, but well, that's not what I wanted to see when I refreshed my timeline to confirm that report. All right, boys, we have an unfortunate passing in the world of sports.
Oh no.
Legendary Indiana basketball head coach Bob Knight has passed away.
Oh no.
Rest in peace.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. So I actually have a refereeing story about Bob Knight. I didn't officiate Bob Knight, but a guy that I worked with, that I used to work with in coaching when I coached basketball for a few years, he had a buddy that was officiating in the Big 12 at one point, and his first game ever in the Big 12 was ironically when Bob Knight was at Texas Tech. And of course, he was a little bit shorter than Bob Knight, but Bob Knight was just one of those, that presence that he gave and everything like that. Um, that because it could be intimidating. And so he's out there officiating. The next thing he hears is Bob Knight standing behind him saying, "All right, rookie, I know I'm a little taller than you, but get the hell out of my way." Oh man, but unfortunate, but he has had some health problems over the years.
Yeah, 83 years old, absolute legend in college basketball and just the sports world. So rest in peace to Bob Knight. Again, that's not what I wanted to see when I was going to refresh my Twitter timeline to confirm the news. So very unfortunate on that one. So rest in peace, T's and P's to friends and family and fans. But yeah, no, with the Jordan Love thing, the Packers are unsure if Jordan Love's gonna be the future, and yeah, it's basically like, hey, they got 10 games, to figure things out, which fair. That is very true.
Hey, Raiders are going with a Big Ten quarterback. Let the Packers go with their Big Ten backup and Sean Clifford.
Well,
Yeah.
the issue is they have Tucker Kraft waiting for the ball. I mean, he's the best tight end in the league. Come on now, come on, you got to play Tucker Kraft some very
funny
valuable
enough,
minutes.
you're saying Tucker Kraft, you're saying tight end. Sean Clifford was notorious for checking down to his tight ends constantly at Penn State. So hey,
you know what?
be a match
Sean
made in heaven.
Clifford. There you go, Sean Clifford. Sean Clifford to Tucker Kraft. First touchdown NFL career right there.
Oh man. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean that's gonna get Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave in the game. You know what I mean? They're both gonna be absolute stars. So, all right, boys. Let's jump over to some college here. Well, we'll hit the rankings first. Did not get to watch it live for the show like we did last year, but we are doing the follow up now. So, Ohio State coming in at number 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3, Florida State 4, Washington 5, Oregon 6. I can keep going down the list from there here in a minute, but just that top 6, how are we feeling about it?
A little upset. Georgia's strength of schedule is 100th going into this week. Michigan's is 111th. Those rankings don't come anywhere close to Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. Washington being out of the top 4 is ridiculous.
So I actually agree with that, and that's one reason why when I looked at this to begin with, I'm like, I don't know why Georgia's on top so high. The one thing that I will defend with Michigan is they have not had a hiccup yet. All right, knock on wood. I'm just saying in general, you have not seen them struggle yet. You have not seen them. Their toughest schedule is coming ahead like now. So, in that regard, I understand why they're ranked so high. But Georgia, like I said, I understand they're back-to-back national champions. None of them have had a quality win like Washington. And even though Washington has that one quality win against Oregon, and yes, I understand that Washington has struggled the last couple of weeks since beating Oregon, and Oregon they picked up right where they left off. But just looking at this, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more love for Washington.
Yeah.
But I also get it. I also get it to an extent because the Pac-12 has been garbage for years up until now, unfortunately. And ironically, because everybody's about to leave that conference anyway.
God, I hate how the Pac-12 is so good this year, and we're not going to have it again anymore.
Hey, 4 out of the top 6 teams would be Big Ten teams starting next year. So
that's true. Yeah, no. When I saw the rankings after they had all come out, that was my first thought: is no love for Washington. I feel like Washington should have had that love because I mean, I do agree with the Michigan thing with the schedule, but I also agree with Ricky where they haven't shown weakness. You know what I mean? I know they haven't had a tough schedule, but they have shown literally no weakness at all. On the flip side, Georgia, they also had a weak ass schedule and they've shown weakness. So Georgia should, I feel like, be dropped a little bit more. I can see the argument for keeping Michigan where they're at because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're dominating teams they're supposed to dominate. The most points they've let up in a single game is 10 points. Other than that, every game has been a single-digit amount of points they've let up every single week. And granted, again, I understand there's been no challenges yet. Their challenges are coming up over the next, 4 weeks, arguably, at least. Not this week, but the next 3 weeks for sure. Purdue, yeah, I mean they're a Big Ten spoiler team. They're the spoiler makers, not the boiler makers. So they could definitely, put up a little bit of a fight. You never know with them. But after that, Penn State, at Maryland, and Maryland's always going to be a little creeper of a team. And then Ohio State, of course. But I mean, they have continued to dominate across the board. So I get why they're still high. Georgia, I'm not going to sit here and beat the table that Georgia should be out of the top 4. I think if they're going to be out of the top 4, I think at least 5. I don't think they should go below 5 right now. But if they're going to be in the top 4, probably about that 4 spot. That's kind of my mindset. Florida State's the one that I would personally kind of drop out at this point. They have shown a consistent amount of weakness, even though they are undefeated. At least in my opinion, they have. They're the ones that I would drop out of the top 4 in favor of Washington.
Thing about Florida State that's going for them is that LSU win week 1.
It is.
That was huge. And also beating Clemson at Clemson and then having another ranked win over Duke.
Right, and I mean, but you also have to see ever since that overtime win, who was that? Was Clemson? They won in overtime, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The last 3-4 games, they haven't shown any kind of slowing down. I mean, they're showing that dominance that I expected them to show early on in the season. They're starting to figure things out. Like I said, it's not the ending yet. There's so much more football that's going to be played. But it's like it's going to be very interesting to see because it's going to be impossible that all 5 of these teams go undefeated because you still have Ohio State and Michigan. But it's going to be very interesting if you can still have Georgia, either Ohio. If you can have 4 of these 5 teams, if they can stay undefeated for the rest of the season, that's going to be even more interesting because I don't think we've had a top 4 where all 4 have been undefeated.
There is a very good possibility that Ohio State and Michigan will be in the top 4 at the end of the season again, just like last year.
Yeah.
But I think most of my gripes with this ranking come outside of the top 6.
Oh, God. Let's hear it. Let's hear this love for Air Force. I'm waiting on it. I knew this was coming.
Okay, first of all, there is a lack of respect for Air Force. I will say that. Ranking them only 25th is ridiculous. Also, no Liberty and no James Madison. They're the other 2 undefeated teams that aren't ranked. Well, where's the love for them?
Non-existent.
LSU being ranked 2 spots below Missouri is kind of, I get LSU has an additional loss over Missouri, but LSU beat Missouri handedly. Where is the importance to the head-to-head coming here? I get Penn State dropping out of the top 10, kind of ridiculous, and also Oklahoma. Why didn't Oklahoma drop further than what they should have, losing to Kansas?
I agree to that.
Doesn't
100%.
make any sense.
Oklahoma
should not be in the top 10.
So here is where I will defend that Penn State should be out of the top 10 for now. Where is their quality wins? They don't have one.
Hold on. Are you telling me? Are you disrespecting the Minutemen right now? That's a quality win.
They also do have a shutout win against a ranked Iowa.
I will give you that much. Guys. Is it just me? If Iowa had a lick of offense, they'd probably be the best team in football right now. Am I crazy to say that? Their defense is so good.
And special teams, with the exception of that play.
I feel bad for Iowa right now, just because if they had an offense, it'd be over for the entire country right now. Penn State does not have a quality win yet. I understand why Penn State was dropped so far. Oklahoma, the reason you're not going to have Oklahoma drop yet is because they beat Texas. That's the only reason why. They
And you
have a
know,
quality win.
I think the College Football Playoff Committee threw a bone to Oklahoma by ranking Oklahoma State, whose only quality win comes against Kansas, who just got ranked this week. So now I think they're throwing a bone to Oklahoma, so Oklahoma can go in to Bedlam this weekend and beat Oklahoma State once again, have a ranked win under their belt.
I mean, we'll see, but at the same time, Oklahoma State's not going to be a pushover. They have improved so much in these past. They've probably improved. They've
They
improved.
have been a dominant team time and time out over the past 50 years, yet they cannot beat Oklahoma. They have only beat Oklahoma in Bedlam 4 times.
4 times.
It's always 4 with you.
It is.
It's always 4. Hey, you know what? Write it down. Write it down. Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma in 4 overtimes this weekend.
Guys, I got to be honest.
That's a joke. That's a joke, by the way. I don't want you to write that down.
I've got to be very honest with you
overtimes.
guys. I was sweating bullets this weekend when we went into overtime. I was sweating bullets. I was just like, is this actually about to happen to me again? God.
No, but there is a severe lack of severe lack of respect for Group of 5 teams going into this season.
So, and I'll go back to what I said about the other teams. Where's their quality wins?
Doesn't matter. If there's a Group of 5 team that is undefeated, they should be ranked.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
I agree.
They're all vying for that. They're all vying for the New Year's Six bowl game. They should be ranked.
I believe they should be ranked. But how high is the question? Because it does depend on quality wins.
If that's the case, take Tulane out of the top 25. If we're going to go by that situation, take Tulane out of the top 25.
I agree.
There's nothing on their schedule that screams top 25. Kansas State, you could make an argument for them to be out of the top 25.
I do not think Tennessee should be in the top 25 anymore.
I could see that. USC is going to be out of the top 25 after this week. They'll have 3 losses. They'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think USC should be in the top 25 right now anyway. After two losses in a row, and then you have a 50-49 win at Cal. Come on.
And
I also think the committee is way too high on Louisville.
Well, I mean, look at Louisville though, because I mean, Louisville has that 1 loss, and it was a bad one. Golly,
unfortunately,
they got wiped out. And so, you look at the one thing I will say about the committee. They took the undefeated teams and said, okay, this is what we think of the undefeated teams right now. They took the 1-loss teams, grouped them together, with the exception of Tulane and Air Force. And then they did the same thing with the 2-loss teams. So at least it kind of gives a perspective, because I could defend just about every one of these with the exception of Georgia. I can't defend Georgia. There's no way to defend Georgia on them being number 2 in the country right now. There's no way. I don't see it anywhere. But yes, I mean, it's just a lot. And a lot of these teams have not played the meat of their schedule yet. And that's where we're really going to see exactly what the committee is going to think after the meat of their schedule comes out, and that's just part of it. But I mean, I don't think it's completely off whack. I mean, at the same time, but I like to see some of these Group of 6 teams in there, absolutely. But again, quality wins. Understand? And listen, I'm also one of those proponents. I understand that some of these big schools. Who wants to play James Madison in a non-conference game? Have y'all seen James Madison's record? They who was it that they beat? Of course, this was several years ago. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Virginia Tech when Virginia Tech was really, really high. Appalachian State when Michigan was really, really high. They don't want to play these small teams. That's why you don't see South Dakota State playing against these big Division I teams, with the exception of Iowa last year. You saw North Dakota State play Arizona last year. Again, you don't want these big teams to play these small teams. So, but the only way we're going to get this is if they're able to get these teams to play them, and right now they're not going to do it.
I can make an exception for James Madison being ranked, specifically because they are not bowl eligible again this season. But Liberty should at least be ranked. Again, it goes back to all these group of 5 teams that are undefeated currently right now. They are vying for that New Year's 6 bowl game. Because the top ranked group of 5 team goes automatically to that New Year's 6 bowl game.
That's
so
true.
I mean, I think if you're undefeated, regardless, you should be ranked.
And then depending on quality of wins will depend on how high.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I mean, if you don't have a great like schedule of wins versus great opponents, you know, like arguably like an Air Force or Liberty, I'm for both of them, but I see the teams they're playing. I don't know. You should be in the 20s. I think you're ranked. I think that's fair. At least that's my mindset, but. Also, shout out as well, another team that kind of fell off a little bit of a cliff this weekend. North Carolina caught an L to Georgia Tech. Missed that one.
Weren't they up like 14-0 at one to start the game?
Yeah, they were up 14-0 in the first quarter, and then Georgia Tech put up 24 in the second, and they put up 20, and then Georgia Tech put up 22 in the fourth. Like, Lord have mercy, how do you let that happen?
Georgia Tech beating Georgia at the end of the season? Question mark?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's not go that far.
That would be unbelievable. I would love that.
In the same week, Georgia Tech would knock off Georgia and Florida would knock off Florida State. Wow.
Can't the script writers can't do much better than that, man. They're doing a great job right now. No, I mean, overall, I mean, when it comes to the rankings, I mean, we know that they're always going to be a little bit of a shit show for the first one, but I mean, I don't think they're horrible this time. There's just a few gripes. You know, now it's just kind of see how they're going to be going forward. You know, going week to week. You know, I think we got some pretty good games this upcoming weekend. So that's for sure. You know, Ohio State's going to potentially catch a big L versus the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So might want to watch out. Big L coming for the Buckeyes.
You know, not gonna lie, this is the best season that Rutgers and Maryland have had since joining the Big Ten, and I'm glad for them, but I'm also sad for them, considering the 4 teams that are joining the Big Ten, and then Rutgers and Maryland they're just gonna drift off into the sunset.
You think
to the forgotten lands?
You think they're gonna get kicked out?
Probably. I mean, if anybody's going to get kicked out, they are the first 2 that'll get kicked out because they are the newest, and they are also the 2 teams that they don't really do well, and they don't really add anything.
Does Rutgers have anything to contribute to the Big Ten at all? Like, do they have like any good athletic programs? Like, I mean, they're pretty good academically, I'd imagine, but like, do they have any good athletic programs?
It's the history with Rutgers.
Okay.
Like aren't they like the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Actually, I would say Northwestern is like the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten.
I would agree. I would agree with Northwestern. Yeah.
Northwestern brings in a lot of money, so that's why they're sticking around.
Well, you might want to watch out this weekend, Jacob. You're gonna have a rough game ahead of you.
Scared. I'm shaking in my boots.
I swear to God, if it actually does turn around, it's a fucking game. I'm sorry. I was just messing with you. I'm so sorry if that happens. Like, just Ohio State. If that happens,
I'm gonna be so upset.
If Ohio State gets caught sleeping or something, and Rutgers takes them into 4 overtimes, I'm sorry.
It better not happen. It better not fucking happen.
Okay, so I know in terms of time right now, I know Ricky's got to go here soon. Boys, do we have other things that we want to really chat about in terms this past weekend rankings, anything of the sorts? If not, I feel like we can probably go ahead and get to predictions.
Yeah, I'm good to predict.
Okay. So we already put
do it.
in our college predictions just because we did have a Wednesday game. So needed to go ahead and get that one locked in because I don't know if the kickoff had already started or not. But we can just go through and shout out who we picked for everything.
They have not started yet. They start in a half hour.
Okay. So that Wednesday game was our terrible game of the week. It is Kent State and Akron. I picked Akron to catch this dub.
I also did.
Make it 3.
Next up, we had South Alabama and Troy. I picked Troy.
I did as well.
Make it 3.
Arkansas at Florida.
Skip the next game.
Arkansas at
Don't you dare
Florida.
skip.
I picked Florida.
I also picked Florida. Make it 3.
What about you, Ricky? Did you pick Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How about them Gators?
Next up, Jacksonville State and South Carolina. I did pick the Cox here.
Same.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to like situate this into a big ordeal. South Carolina has not impressed me at all this season.
I
I'm
agree.
looking back at their schedule, and everybody scores 20-plus points on them. Give me the upset. Give me Jacksonville State.
Ooh, I like it. Texas A&M and Ole Miss. I picked Ole Miss here.
Yeah, give me the Rebels.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Notre Dame and Clemson. I went with Notre Dame.
Same.
Same.
Kansas State and Texas. I went with Texas.
I went with K-State.
Nice.
Very interesting. If it was at Kansas State, I'd be tempted, but it's at Texas. I'm taking Texas.
Then we had a FCS matchup here with Furman and Chattanooga. I picked Furman.
I did as well.
I've got Chattanooga.
Ooh, I like it. Arizona State and Utah. I went with Utah in a bounce back. They did, yeah. They got smacked this weekend. That's right.
I went with Utah as well. Would not be shocked if an upset happened right here.
I almost pulled the upset here because Arizona State, we've actually seen them go toe-to-toe with some of these teams as of late. But I'm going to stick with Utah.
Army and Air Force, just because I like rivalries. Air Force. Easy.
Yeah, I went with Air Force too. Shout out to Army. Gonna be joining the non-independents starting next season.
Yeah, who are they joining again?
I think Conference USA.
Okay. Who's Navy in? Is Navy in an American? Because they joined the
Yes.
conference.
Yeah, I think they are American.
Okay. The next up, we had our FCS game of the week. We had North Dakota State and South Dakota State. I picked the Jackrabbits.
I did as well.
I did as well. North Dakota State's not near the team they were last year.
Next up, we had UCF and Cincinnati, the game of two of the newbies who haven't completely impressed this year in the Big 12. I went with UCF, still believing they can turn it around.
Yeah, I went with UCF as well because they have shown more glimpses than Cincinnati has this season.
I agree.
As much as I can't stand Gus Malzahn, I went with UCF as well.
Penn State and Maryland, I picked Penn State.
Same. I would not be surprised if an upset happened though.
If this game were last week, I would have picked Maryland just because Penn State looked terrible against Indiana, but I think they rebound. Give me Penn State.
James Madison, Georgia State, I picked James Madison.
I did as well.
I did as well, and I finally got a Georgia State gate right. Yes.
OU and Oklahoma State, I picked OU.
Same.
I really hope the Cowboys upset them, though.
Same.
Then we had our FBS game of the week, Missouri at Georgia.
Oh, give me the Tigers, please. Just smack the living dog shit out of the Bulldogs.
I picked Missouri.
You two are crazy and insane. I wanted to pick Missouri so bad. You know
Then
what?
do it.
Go Missouri. I got
Yes.
Missouri.
Oh, that's great. Next up, Cal and Oregon. I picked Oregon.
I picked Oregon as well. Cal's been playing a lot better here recently, so it could be a competitive game, but give me Oregon.
I hate you, Cal. How did you give up 50 points against USC?
True.
And how did you only score 49? Come on, Cal. Oregon wins this game in a blowout. It's not even going to be close.
Marshall and App State. I picked Marshall.
Picked App State.
I also picked App State.
BYU and West Virginia. I picked BYU.
West Virginia.
Mountain Home.
I picked BYU as well.
Washington and USC. I picked Washington.
Same.
This is where USC finally gets out of the top 25 and everything goes downhill going into the Big Ten next year.
LSU at Alabama. I picked LSU.
I picked Alabama, and I would not be surprised if Alabama ends up in the top 4 at the end of the season.
And I'm going to fucking hate it when it happens.
Same here.
Because that team is not deserving.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though, guys. Alabama's defense is starting to show signs, and I really, really am confident with this pick. I'm going to take Alabama as well.
Really, really confident. All right, I'm the lone wolf over here. The lone tiger over here.
I hope you're right, Alex. I really
I do
hope
too.
you are.
Next up, Sacramento
too.
State and Montana. I picked the Grizz.
I picked Sac State.
Good pick.
I also picked Sacramento State.
Yo. Remembered something. I saw someone wearing a Sacramento State polo.
Really?
How random is that shit?
Well,
Yeah, that's a long ways away from
Yeah.
Sacramento too. That's
Dude,
weird.
I know. And I asked him. I was just like, did you go there? He's like, no, I'm just a fan. I'm like, what?
Okay.
that's about as. That's more random than like Tyler is saying. Screw Temple, 'cause
yeah.
Penn State and Temple are rivalries.
The two other most random ones that I've seen is I've seen a all decked out Vandy fan. Like I'm talking, this was after they introduced the new logo. So he had a new logo hat. He had a new logo polo. I don't know if he went there. I didn't ask him, but that was pretty random to me. And then I actually saw a fellow Hawaii fan out in the wild. I actually saw two here within the same year. So that was pretty wild, honestly. Yeah, there's some dude walked into one of my stores. He was wearing a Hawaii hat. I'm just like, go Bows, man. And then recently, when I was up in Fort Smith to watch a game, I saw someone at a store who had a Rainbow Warriors shirt. I'm just like, wow, how about that? But no, Sacramento State takes it. That was weird. Anyway, back to the picks. Miami and NC State. I picked Miami.
Give me NC State.
I will also pick NC State.
Kiss my ass, Jacob. Kiss my ass, Ricky. Next up, we had Oregon State and Colorado. I picked the Beavs.
I as well picked Oregon State.
Make it 3.
And then lastly, we had UCLA and Arizona. I picked the upset. Give me Arizona.
I did as well.
Make it 3, boys. We're on like minds this week on most of these games.
All right, let's hop over to the NFL, knock this out, and get ourselves out of here. I have some pumpkin-shaped pizza pockets waiting for me, and I'm very excited. All right, Tennessee and Pittsburgh for the Slogfest Thursday night game. Give me Tennessee.
Same.
I've got Pittsburgh.
Miami and KC. I really don't know how to feel on this one.
I am hammering down Miami.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but Kansas City. I mean, I say Patrick Mahomes does not look bad in back-to-back games. That's the only reason why I want to pick Kansas City. But I think right now Miami is the better team, and I think if Miami could give them this big wake-up call, even bigger than what Denver gave them, I think Kansas City will eventually turn things around. Give me Miami.
But why do I have a feeling that this is going to be like the Miami-Buffalo game, where Miami goes in looking like the way more dominant team?
That's what I'm
and
afraid
just
of.
gets smacked.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Is
'cause
Taylor going to be there?
KC doesn't lose twice like that.
Did y'all hear what Denver did after they beat Kansas City? Played shake it off. So great. If Tyler Swift is there, I'm changing my pick to Kansas City. All right.
Give me Kansas City. All right, Minnesota and Atlanta. Give me Atlanta.
Yeah, give me Heineke.
Unfortunately, yes.
Seattle and Baltimore. Give me Baltimore.
Give me Seattle.
I like the pick. I like that pick a lot. But if it was in Seattle, I would pick Seattle. But give me Baltimore.
Chicago, New Orleans. Give me New Orleans.
Yeah, give me the Saints. I was hesitant. Not gonna lie.
Dadgummit. Yeah, give me the Saints.
Arizona and Cleveland. Give me the Brownies.
Yep.
Make it 3 for 3.
Tampa Bay and Houston. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, give me a bounce back game for the Texans.
Yeah, what happened? Hang on. What was this? What was this? Houston? Houston was gonna what now?
Houston, we have a problem. The offense didn't show up.
Oh my God.
Houston in a bounce back after losing to the now 1-6 Carolina team.
Jesus Christ. All right, Washington and New England. I don't fucking know. This is a shit show.
Washington. Washington has a better offense. I know they just signed away their entire defense, but Washington has a better offense and a better quarterback by the name of Sam Howell.
I don't know about that, but I'll take Washington as well.
Give me Washington. All right, LA and Green Bay. Give me LA. Rams, that is. Rams.
Yep, I agree.
Make it 3.
Indy and Carolina. Give me Minshew Mania. It's going to run wild eventually.
Does Carolina get 2 wins in a row?
No. As a Bears fan, I hope no.
No. Give me Indianapolis.
Yep.
I hope Frank Wright doesn't strike revenge on Indy. I really hope so. It would be a poetic thing to happen, but I need Carolina to lose out so we can guarantee that #1 pick. All right, Dallas and Philly.
I'm so nervous.
Give me the Eagles.
Fuck you.
I am too.
No, fuck you
What
for
the
picking
fuck?
NC State.
Hold on, wait a minute. Give me Dallas. What is wrong with you, Ricky?
What? I didn't say anything.
Oh, you were agreeing with me. Oh,
I didn't
because
say
Alex
anything.
also, at the same time, Alex said, give me the Eagles. And then you said,
I didn't
am
say
too.
anything. I literally did. Oh, it must be the lag on my hotspot internet.
Oh, that box, yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I'm hesitant to pick the Cowboys because I also the back-to-back wins. The last time they had a blowout win, they ended up not showing up. But if we look overall, Philly's defense is not as good as Dallas's defense is. That's why I'm taking the Cowboys.
All right, Giants and the new look Raiders. Are the Raiders going to get a dub with their new head coach and new quarterback?
Yeah, I think they will. Give me Aiden O'Connell. I believe.
No
Yep,
Darren Waller for the Giants as well.
Yeah, the Giants are extremely banged up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give me Vegas. Sunday night, Buffalo and Cincy.
Give me Cincinnati.
Yeah, give me Cincy. Monday night, that apparently NFL tried to flex out, but they didn't meet the deadline for it, so it's still going on as planned. The Chargers and the Jets.
Give me those Jets.
I will also take the Jets.
I'm going to take the Jets as well, but it wouldn't shock me if the Chargers came out and got the job done. They finally got some, things kind of working last week against the shit Bears. And it wouldn't, but at the same time, I'd love the Jets to beat them because I'm in the boat now that I think Staley really does need to get fired. He's done nothing with all this talent. I would love to see him get canned at this point. So Right, let me turn that down. But all right, we made it through all of our picks and stuff, so I think we can probably look to go and wrap up the show. I know Ricky does need to leave. Wednesdays is of course not our normal day to do the show. We'll be back at Tuesday next week around 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern Time. So boys, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
One thing, the Titans apparently tried to ship out Ryan Tannehill before the trade deadline, but nobody would take his contract on.
Yeah, if he didn't have that contract, I feel like there would be some team that would probably trade for him. I'll be very transparent.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
a top tier quarterback, but I think he's a serviceable guy to get in there and help your team. But that contract is brutal.
Yep.
All right, so this is interesting. Before we go, just a quick little rumor here that I just came across. Apparently, there are rumors that the Commanders' new owner could try to trade for Bill Belichick this offseason.
Oh Lord.
That would be something. That would be an interesting thing to see if that happens.
Move on from Ron Rivera or just swap?
That's the question. I'd probably just say move on. So
That sucks for Ron if that's the case.
But anyway, all right, boys. Yeah. So any last thoughts? If not, we're gonna get our way out of here. All right. See you, Ricky.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good night, man.
Bye.
All right, but yeah, check out some Rogue Energy. Referral link down below. Promo code Sparky3. Join the Discord. Come chat with us. Buy a jersey because we've got really sick jerseys. And again, we'll be back at normal time next week for Tuesday around 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern Time. So stop by. We'll appreciate that. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.